Welcome to the Matt Cutrer Report. These are the extraordinary stories of ordinary individuals. Today's guest is a realtor. He's the Einstein of real estate. He's also a local business owner. He owns Angelo Alehouse and Pizzeria. He has an extraordinary story. My friend, Mr. Rusty Bartholomeo.
Hey. Go with no deals, did it all.
All right, Rusty Bartholomeo. So, dude,
That good?
I got to ask you, the Einstein of real estate, are you really that smart, though?
Man, I like to believe I am.
Yeah. What
You know,
does E really equal MC squared?
No, E equals MC sold.
Oh, that's right.
E equals MC sold over here with the Einstein of real estate, brother.
Dude, thank you, by the way, for doing this.
Absolutely,
man.
brother.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure, man. Honestly,
Cool.
I wanted to, man. I love your show. I've been watching it.
Thanks, dude.
And I really do enjoy it.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man.
So what we like to do to start off is I call it an elevator pitch. So you're basically just telling the audience who you are and what you do. You got 60 seconds. Go for it.
All right. Well, I'm a local entrepreneur, born and raised in San Angelo, Texas. I was a longtime bartender.
Yeah.
Started out, I was in a metal band and a bartender for a decade. And then I got into real estate, and I've been doing real estate for almost 7 years now. I love it. I fell in love with real estate right away. And a couple of years into real estate, I bought the Angelo Alehouse and Pizzeria. It was old Milagros building.
Yep.
And we renovated it. It took almost a year, and then we've turned it into the pizzeria that we have now. And man, I tell you what, I'm blessed to have everything that I have and be doing as well as we're doing.
Are you looking to elevate your brand with custom headwear? Custom business hats for high quality customized hats, perfect for any business need. Whether it's for company branding or distinctive merchandise, we ensure that your brand gets the attention it deserves. Plus, we offer free quotes to help you get started. Visit our website at custombusinesshats.com. Custom Business Hats. We've got you covered. Hey guys, hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. Yeah.
So,
man, that's cool. So what I think your story's kind of fascinating just from what I know is I love people, especially local people who maybe started off, like you started off as a bartender.
Yep.
And then slowly, like you just put your mind to it and your entrepreneurial spirit, and you just started building, you got into real estate, you opened that business and you just continue to push and grow, but also to give back to the community. And, when we talked, like we immediately just kind of hit it off and started talking about all kinds of stuff that we related on. But what I want the audience to know, because I want to know more, just a little bit about how this all happened for you. Like, give us a little backstory about being a bartender and how it progressed and why you got into real estate and so on and so forth.
So, honestly, before I was a bartender even, I literally was just in I was a heavy metal band as a server. I was a server at a restaurant. I worked at Los Panchitos for years.
Really?
4 years.
I didn't know that.
The Paseo.
Okay.
Yeah. And was in a traveling metal band. We actually did quite a bit of, stuff. But, as I got into bartending, it's okay. It's kind of a late night life.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I kind of was looking for something else. And, it's funny. One of my regulars was Scott Allison Real Estate.
That's right. You told me this.
Yeah. And he was, man, I think he might make a good realtor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, he knows my dad.
Okay.
Well, he put the bug in my dad's ear.
Oh.
My dad, and honestly, I got it. I went did the real estate school.
Yeah.
Honestly, almost in a way to be like, I'm going to show them I'm not going to like real estate.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like out of spite?
It's fine, you know.
Yeah.
And then I got into it, and then the first deal I closed was a young couple,
Oh yeah.
and we closed the deal. And at closing, they both sandwich hugged me. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We've been trying so hard.
That's neat, dude.
We really appreciate it, and it felt so good.
Yeah. Was it just like a regular home, like nothing
Yeah,
crazy?
nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was $150,000 Santa Rita house.
How did you get those clients though? Those first ones?
Those first ones actually had, it was a friend of a friend
Yeah.
who kind of just, hey, you know, my friends are looking. I
Yeah.
know, and I was new in real estate. It was my first deal ever.
Yeah.
But you know, that felt so good.
That's cool. Yeah.
I thought, man, maybe I need to get out of the bar business. I
Yeah.
like this. This
Okay.
feels really good. It feels better than getting people drunk.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend, Brad Van Zant. Shout out to Brad who owns Parrots.
Oh, I love Brad, dude.
I do too, man.
I've
You
known
know Brad?
Dude, I've known
Shut
Brad.
up.
Dude, I've known
I
Brad
figured you did.
from back when he was a bartender
At Giz and Hum?
Gizzenhum's.
Me too.
Yeah, at
Me
Giz and
too.
Hum's way
You know
back in the day.
The number one thing people say about Brad when they're like, oh yeah, I knew him at Giz and Hum's. He was such an asshole.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, he would. Because
Yeah.
that was when I was in a metal band.
Oh, it was?
And we'd
Yeah.
go in there, about midnight.
Yeah.
And just be drinking. And by the time 1:30 rolls around, we'd be drunk, and
Yeah.
we'd be playing Journey, and
Yeah.
all of us singing to the top of our lungs, Journey, and he's in
Yeah.
there. Get out! Shut up! Stop! He'd turn off the jukebox on us.
Yeah, that sounds just like him, dude. But the other day, what did he say the other day? He said, he goes, listen, I'm in the business. I sell people poison. And I was like, dang, you kind of do, huh?
It's
And
true.
He was like, what sucks is like, sometimes you see people get really carried away with that, obviously, and it like ruins their whole life. And
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but that's not on you. And he goes, no, I know that, but like, it's crazy that you see that sometimes. And so like you were saying, like, there's nothing wrong with bartending, but like,
No.
it's one of those things that it's not the most constructive thing to be
It's
doing,
not, and I had several before I got into real estate. I had several of my regulars that were, in there every day
Yeah.
end up with, cirrhosis of the
Are
liver.
you serious, dude? You saw that
and,
happen?
and passed away. And
Dude, that's horrible.
even though again, it's not on
No,
me,
yeah.
but at the same time, it still weighed on my heart
Yes.
to the point where I thought, man, I don't know.
I get that.
I got to
dude.
find something to do.
Yeah, I get that.
So
So after you made that first sell, like, were you all in at that point? Like, you were like,
man,
okay,
I
this
was
is
like,
what I'm.
this is
yeah.
it. I fell in love
Interesting.
on
yeah.
the first, getting into it. The school is monotonous, boring.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
The test is, but the actual job itself, when you
Mhm.
learn, and of course, the school and the test teaches you nothing on actually how to do real estate.
Oh wow.
It just tells you how not to get in
I
trouble.
see.
And
Yeah.
it really teaches you the laws and all that.
That's what I
but
thought.
you kind of have to when I got in, I spent a good probably 4 or 5 months kind of just following, puppy dogging around. What are
Uh-huh.
you doing? How are you doing this? What do I do?
Exactly.
Were
Were you at Scott Allison? Or is that where
no,
you,
what happened was, I interviewed when I got my license, when I actually had the license. It's like, okay, hey, I passed my test. I went and talked to every real broker.
Oh, you
in town.
did?
I talked to probably
Smart.
at least 6 or 7 brokers,
Okay.
and the one that I just felt was gonna be most helpful,
Mhm.
and the one that was actually he gave me the best split.
Yeah.
Like as far as, because like when you start out, it's some of them will say 60-40
Yep.
or 50-50 or
Dang,
something like
yeah.
that. They take pretty good
Oh,
chunk
yeah.
until you prove yourself.
Okay.
And as you prove yourself, they'll
I see.
give you more and more.
Yeah.
And Ryan gave me the best deal. And talking to Ryan, he was just such a intelligent, nice person, and really and honestly, he's my broker today still.
Dang. Ryan who?
Ryan Newland.
Oh yeah.
ERA
Cool,
Newland
man.
Company.
Yeah.
Dude, Ryan is very,
Wow.
very knowledgeable.
Uh-huh.
And there was something there that
Yeah.
I could click with, that I could, I said, man,
Yeah.
I kind of want this guy to be my broker.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
I went with him, and of course he gave me, right off the bat, gave me a really good deal. Felt like I
That's
was going to do
cool.
well, and had faith in me
Uh-huh.
that I was going to do well.
Nice.
And I didn't prove him wrong. I proved him right.
You did? So
Yeah,
you
I
started
did well.
killing it?
I started killing it.
Really?
The first year was a little rough,
Yeah.
as every realtor. But he actually told me, he's like, man, actually, you're doing better than the vast majority of first year realtors.
Oh, and what do you attribute that to? Did you have good marketing right out of the gates, or was it word of mouth and friends and family?
It was, honestly, I have a big circle
Yeah,
because I bartended
okay.
forever.
That's
And I
true.
knew a
Yeah.
lot of people. And honestly, I'm good. I'm a good talker.
Yeah, you are.
I like to
Absolutely.
conversate. I love people.
You're genuine too.
I'm
though.
genuine.
You don't come off. You're not phony, dude. Not people. You can tell when they're like that. You know.
Yeah, when they're fake.
Yeah.
No, I genuinely love almost everybody unless they're just horrible people.
Yeah.
I just genuinely love everybody.
Yeah.
But I love being around people and I love socializing, and so therefore, I think it naturally just.
For sure.
It clicked for me.
Yeah. And so how many years now have you been a realtor?
Going on 7.
Yeah.
I think just right around 7.
What gave you the idea or inspiration to do the Einstein of real estate? Because I think that's pretty brilliant.
So thanks, man. What happened, and it was kind of so my first year is real estate, you're like, well, you got to do all these hours. So your first year, like even though you've gone to school, they require 90 credits, continuing education hours.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, to renew your license and to renew it after the second year.
Okay.
So he was like, and everybody told me, hey, you know what? I know it's a lot, but if you go for your GRI, which is the harder of all of the designations as a realtor, is to get your GRI.
What's that stand for?
It's a graduate of the Realtor Institute.
Okay.
And so it's 90 credit semester hours, which is exactly what you needed.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, hey, if I'm already going to have these hours, I'm going to go ahead and get my GRI.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm one of the very few, he said, hey, man, you're one of the few that actually got your GRI almost in the first year. That's really, impressive. You've done real well.
Nice.
I'm doing this real estate thing on KLST. Mm-hmm. You want to come on and talk about real estate for 30 minutes?
Cool.
And I was like, yeah, man, that'd be so cool. I get my name out there, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
So you have to go hand your ID and everything.
Yeah.
So I hand my ID as I get to the studio, and they look at, it's Albert. I said, yeah, I go by Rusty. My real name's Albert. He's like, like Albert Einstein. I said, yeah, man, I'm the Einstein of real estate. And he goes, E equals MC sold.
What?
And after that, man,
that's
I was
how
like,
it came about?
That's how it came about, man.
That's hilarious.
That's how it came. I had to go with it after that. I was like,
you were like, boom, that's it.
I'm using that marketing.
Yeah.
I'm using that branding.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, for me getting my GRI, and then being on that show, that's how that came about.
Yeah.
And I've stuck with it ever since because it's good.
I love it, dude. I love it. And who created your little guy, like the little cartoon guy?
A friend of mine. So, a friend of mine, he, when I was in a metal band.
Yeah.
And we had a few albums out, and he was the one kind of helping, do some design work and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, man, I know you do kind of more of a gloomy. He's like an artist. He's a local artist. And he just got a dark, kind of gloomy stuff. And I said, man, can you do something like happy and like, I know it's not your forte, but I don't know who else to talk to, and this is kind of what I had in mind. And yeah, I can do anything. I said, okay, could you do something like that for me?
Okay,
and his name is Edwin.
Yeah.
And Edwin Rivera, he's the one that did the initial.
Oh, yeah?
And came up with all of that. Yeah.
Okay.
And he just knocked it out the park, man. He did a great job.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So before we get into I love some of the marketing that you do and your podcast. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But you got to first tell me a little bit about the metal band. So, because that's fascinating. Y'all actually sold albums and toured and stuff, right?
Yeah.
What was the band called?
It was called Obscure Oracle.
Whoa. And so it was like the genre was heavy metal?
It was very heavy. I'd say almost like a death metal band.
Really? So y'all's lead singer was like,
yep,
like that
was me.
Nuh-uh. You can do that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Dude, that was me,
that's
man.
Sick. Yeah.
It's crazy, right? Like,
can you do something right now?
Man, I haven't done it. It probably hurt. I'd probably tear my throat up.
Y'all sold albums though?
Yeah, we had 2 albums that we did pretty well
pretty
as
cool,
far as
man.
sales. We sold quite a few. We did some touring with some bands. Like we did one. We played with one band out of Columbia, and they would come through Texas. Mm-hmm. And they played with us once in San Angelo. And after that, they said, hey, guys, we like y'all so much. We want you to play like when we come back through.
Yeah.
We want to book you guys with us to play some other venues.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
And we ended up, the next time they came through was the following year. They released another album, and we came through, and we were their the headline support.
Nice.
Yeah, direct headline support. And so we played we played Dirty Dog at Austin on 6th Street with them. We played it back in San Angelo. We played in Lubbock. We played Dallas at the Rail Club with them. We played multiple. I think we had 5 or 6 shows just kind of.
And got paid to do that.
Yeah, got paid.
Whoa,
made money. It's like, whoa. And we were selling merch. We had multiple shirts and stickers and patches and albums and everything else. And we made enough money to pay for us to travel.
Okay, yeah.
But in the end of it, well, I mean, not make enough money to live.
To make a living.
To make a living.
Is that why
at
y'all
it.
had to stop?
That's kind of, it was some of that. And some of it was just
Dang.
after we were together about 7 years.
Yeah.
And the last probably 4 years, we were playing 40, 50, 60 gigs a year,
Whoa.
somewhere in that area. And we
That's
were
a
playing
lot,
a lot.
right?
We were
Yeah.
playing a lot. Well, I think it was at one point we were essentially playing 3 weekends out of every month.
Wow.
And we
Yeah.
were like, we would leave Thursday night and we would play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back Monday.
Dude.
and do it
Did you
again,
enjoy
again.
doing that, or was it exhausting?
It's fun, but
Yeah.
it's real exhausting.
I bet.
We weren't big enough to have somebody to unload our stuff or to drive us or anything. So we're all taking turns driving with a trailer on the back, just tired, and worn out, and
that sounds tough,
smelly.
Dude. Yeah.
The
Where'd y'all stay
smells.
at? Hotels, or did y'all
most
not?
of the time
were they
we'd get a hotel and just
Okay.
all cram into one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of times when we first started,
Yeah.
we would sleep and I had a 4Runner at the time.
Y'all
We
sleep
all
in the
slept
car?
in the 4Runner in the
Yeah.
parking lot of the venue.
Dude, that's sick. Is there any chance of y'all getting back together?
No, man, it's just
Oh,
too.
man.
Too.
That'd be
It's just got,
sick.
and I joined another band.
Oh, you did?
As I got older and got into, kind of went into real estate.
Uh-huh.
I was with Shotgun Rebels, which was a local.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, so
what
it's a local. It was the Dead Horse house band.
That's right.
It
Yeah,
was the
that's
house
right.
band for the Dead
Yeah.
Horse. They originally had a female singer,
Nice.
and then it was the guitar player Rex Rogers, who's the one started the Dead Horse.
That's right, man. He just sent me a friend request.
Dude, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Rex is the coolest.
He
dude.
seems cool,
Man,
yeah.
he is so awesome.
Nice.
And he was the original starter of the Dead Horse back in 2007 when nothing was downtown.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
was there,
Dude, and Dead Horse blew up, man,
and
for
it
a
blew
while.
up. It
was
blew up.
huge.
It did real well. And
Yeah.
and him and his wife, they were in the same band. She was the
Okay.
vocalist.
Nice.
They ended up getting divorced,
Mhm.
and then he wanted to change sounds
Okay.
and do more of like a 70s rock and roll
Oh, I
style
got you.
sound.
Yeah.
And that's when me and him started talking, and
Mhm.
he was like, "Hey, man, you think you want to do this?" I'm like, yeah, because I can't do the growling anymore.
Oh,
I
you
can't do the
couldn't?
head banging. I just
Does it wear on your vocals and stuff? It does?
It really did. Man.
Can you sing, though, as well?
I can sing too.
You can?
Yeah, I can do.
Dude, that's
we
cool. I
did-
can, too.
did-
That's cool. I
Yeah,
like singing.
so did vocals,
Yeah.
for Shotgun Rebels, and it was more
You
like
did?
70s Southern rock.
Dude, do you play an instrument as well?
No, I don't play any instruments.
But your voice is your instrument.
Vocals,
That's
yeah,
awesome,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, I do vocals, and
That's cool.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was fun. We did it for a couple of years, and eventually, we're still occasionally we'll kind of practice, but we don't really play anymore.
Yeah.
I think the last gig we played was a Halloween show at Dead Horse before
Okay.
they closed in 20.
Dude, they had some badass
23.
Halloween parties.
Yeah,
They were cool.
Well, the last one they had in 23.
It was in 23?
That was
Okay.
the last Halloween party they had.
Yeah.
We played that gig.
Oh, wow. That wasn't long ago, huh?
Yeah, and
That's
that was
crazy.
kind of the last gig we played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to do that? Like, because I know with music, it's weird, dude. It's like when you're not doing it and you're a musician, it's like there's this void in your life. You know what I'm saying?
And there was for a while,
Yeah.
but as I've opened the Ale House,
That kind of helps. Huh?
gotten I'm busy in real estate. I'm busy in the Ale House. I got the podcast going.
That's true. You got creative outlets.
I got a lot of creative outlets, so
That's true.
It's not a big void for me.
Yeah.
I do miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, what I missed was hanging out with the guys, jamming in the practice
For
room.
sure. That's the best part,
Like
right?
that's the best part.
Yeah.
I do miss live shows too.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, it was fun,
I
but
can imagine.
too, as you get older too, you're like, that's not as big of a deal as just
Yeah.
hanging out with my friends.
That's right, dude. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about, dude, your marketing is some of the most creative and brilliant. I love it,
Thank
dude.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
I want to talk just a little bit like we were a minute ago
Yeah.
about your Grand Theft Auto ad, our little commercial you did. It was
a listing.
incredible.
So what I do is I started back in 2020.
Okay.
And if you look on there in 2020, I did and it was really kind of interesting. So it was a house that was on the golf course.
Okay.
And so the whole thing started out with a big glass pane that said
Yeah.
Einstein of Real Estate, and it shows a golf ball going through and shattering it.
Nice.
And then
yeah.
it's a golf course, me driving through the golf course and playing golf. And hey, and I was in my listing video, which I was one of the first, I think, in San Angelo that was in my listing
Really?
videos and doing that. And nobody was doing that. If you look back to 2020,
That's
I don't think
wild.
anybody was
How
doing
come
that.
you think?
I don't
We're
know.
just behind always.
They were just behind, but I was trying to be creative. I was trying to set myself apart.
Exactly.
And
That's
so
right.
I started out with that, and then we did
Nice.
another one and another one.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, the Grand Theft Auto one that was like, I'd always been a video game guy. And so all my listings, if you look at all my listing stuff, if I do a really, especially a higher end listing, I spend some money. And I go out
cool,
and
man.
put, the drones and really.
I like that.
Yeah.
High production quality. Yeah.
I'm in my videos. I've had one where I'm walking and I fall in the pool and oh goodness,
You actually fell in the pool?
Yeah, fell in the pool.
Nice,
oh, my nice clothes.
You committed,
My nice clothes fell in the pool. Committed.
Yeah.
I'm drinking a beer. Hey guys, well, I'm here. It was one of those like, dang, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Grand Theft Auto.
That one, dude. I can't believe your movements are so on par to the video game, dude. It looks just like it.
I played the video game my whole, as a kid.
I thought y'all were using some kind of AI though, but you were really doing that?
That was me doing the deal.
Yeah.
And that was my voice.
Yeah.
That was me coming up with the,
Who helped you do that video?
Mark Cabrera.
Oh yeah, you said okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
he's been helping me a lot.
Nice.
And it was kind of my very first was Sebastian Cox of Cox Media.
Okay.
And then he moved, and I got with Mark, and Mark's was very creative, and was allowing me to be creative.
Nice.
So that's another thing, if they're allowing me to be creative, it really helps because
for sure
I'm naturally just that way.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
are
naturally creative, and I want to be different. I want to be creative. I want to be kind of put myself out there. I'm not worried or scared to put myself out there.
I like that, dude. Yeah. So your podcast. So when did you start the real estate podcast?
The real estate podcast started back in, I want to say November
of this, just 24, right?
No, 24. November, December 24.
Cool. What's it called?
It's called High Level Real Estate.
That's good.
And
tell us about it. Yeah.
We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. And I'm really trying to work that YouTube channel to, possibly at once, some point get that,
Absolutely.
But, honestly, it's just, I love real estate.
Yeah.
I love talking about real estate. It's a passion. It's truly a passion. I could make less money and still love it, and it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yep.
I truly love what I do. I love helping people. I love to be there.
That's cool.
And what I thought is like, man, I could get, good information out to a broad amount of people that I know, because I know a lot of stuff that, your average person who's buying a home or selling a home doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I could get that out there to a lot of people, whether they use me or not. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna,
I like that.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with it. Use whoever you want. But if you do use me, great.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's okay too.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get good information about real estate to the general public.
I think we need that. Dude.
Yeah.
So like, what have some of your topics been about?
So the I've done as far as FHA loans.
Oh, nice. Yes.
First time home buyers.
Yes. Good.
I did a whole episode on investments. So investing in real estate. So your investors for rentals, to multifamily, to stuff like that.
Ooh, that's good.
I did one on property management.
Okay. Nice.
Talking about, because it kind of ties into investments, but if you own a rental, it's real hard to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I think doing it yourself is like a.
You think that's the wrong way to go?
It's the wrong way to go.
So you should outsource some of that. Really, that's good to know, man. Because most people, that's how they start, right? They try to do it themselves. They try to do it themselves,
and it's okay if you have one or two.
Yeah,
not a big deal.
Okay,
but if you've got like 4 or 5.
Why is that though? Why is
hire
it
a property manager?
Why is it better to hire a property manager if you have several?
You gotta think. So if you have 1 or 2, it's not, you can kind of keep up with it. It's not a big deal. But when you've got 4, 5, 6, and 12, 20,
dude,
you want somebody who knows all the laws, knows how to evict, knows how to take care of things, knows what to do when certain situations, and they're also going in and taking care of little things that you maybe don't have time for.
I see. Yeah.
And then when people move out, they're going to hire somebody to get in there and clean. You still got to pay for it.
Yeah.
But they're handling those little things that would take a lot of time.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So when's your next episode airing?
We actually we just have the property management come out.
Cool.
And on Thursday we're filming for the next one.
Okay.
Which was it's one of my clients, she is she invested in her first property. She bought her first property back last year, towards the end of last year. Bought it, renovated it, and rented it herself. And then she just recently purchased her first home. So she's a first-time home buyer.
Okay.
And she's graduating ASU in May.
Okay.
She hadn't even graduated ASU, but she's got an investment property and her own home.
Is she younger?
She's very young. She's
20. Good for her,
22, 23.
Yeah.
She's an influencer.
Nice.
She does TikTok and YouTube, and she's an influencer, actually. That's where she makes her money.
And she's local?
She's local. And she is absolutely this big sweetheart.
Whoa.
Very intelligent young woman.
Yeah.
Very, very intelligent woman. And just very down to earth. And I love working with her. And so she's looking at investing in some other properties.
Okay.
And we've developed a really good relationship.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have her on and talk about
That's cool,
her
man.
experiences as getting into investing.
Is she so she's making money from doing the influencer stuff? Good for her.
She is just, and you would think
smart,
young
man.
like that she's very intelligent.
That's cool.
And just a big sweetheart.
That's
I mean,
pretty cool.
truthfully, just a wonderful person.
Yeah.
And I love working with her.
That's
So it's
pretty
been
cool,
real
man.
nice. It's been a cool thing. So
nice.
I wanted to invite her on the show to come out and
I want to see that episode. I want to see them all, but
they're all really good. They're all informative, and I tried. That's what
I
I tried to be informative.
Yeah,
so, I think that's important.
It is. Yeah. So what about? Let's talk about the ale house. Like, I don't even know the story. How did you get involved with that? How did that come about?
So. I'm in real estate. And that was my main gig.
Yeah.
My business partner, my original business partner, he was a realtor too.
Yeah.
He had that building for sale.
You talking about Steven?
Steven,
yeah.
Gossett, yeah.
Yeah.
He had that building for sale forever. Forever. And it just wasn't selling. And, we were actually drinking a beer one day at, I think it was 01 at the Alehouse. And we were like, and we were talking about real estate. I was like, man, I feel like that, he's like, building hadn't sold. And I just, I'm like, man, it's a great location.
It really is.
I get the building needs a lot of work.
Yeah, it needed a lot of work.
It needed a lot of work, and it's awkward.
Yeah.
And I get it, but that location would be next to the college, next to Santa Rita. It's a great location. I feel like it would just be, it'd be a great, great deal. Well, we, were, having just, back and forth. And I was like, at the time, me and my dad my dad had a big outdoor kitchen.
Okay.
And he had imported a few years back, a wood fire pizza oven from Italy.
Nice.
It's an Italian,
cool,
and
dude.
he would make his own dough and make his own sauce. And
sick.
And we'd hang out on the back porch on the weekend or whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
And make pizzas.
Yeah.
Have a few beers. And next thing, I was like, yeah, man, what we did, beer and pizza.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you want to go in together on this?
Yeah.
Man, why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's
do it. Yeah.
Those random decisions. Neither one of us knew really what the hell we were doing.
Whoa. Yeah.
We really didn't.
Yeah.
And, we went through a lot of heartache and a lot of trial and error and a lot of loss of money and a lot of.
Wow.
It was rough. The first couple of years was extremely difficult.
I remember you said. I remember when y'all were doing it, and y'all were posting some progress pictures of it coming along. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I bet these guys feel like they're kind of in over their head, because it almost seemed like there were things being put in that y'all didn't necessarily know, like, oh gosh, we're gonna have to do this. But I was like, hey, they're doing it right though.
There was a lot. We were in overhead big time.
Really? Yeah.
And how many? I bet you we rearranged the damn layout of that place 10 times.
Yeah.
Because it's so small too. We had to.
That's true. But y'all made the most of that space.
We really did.
And what I like about what y'all did too is you were humble enough to admit, hey, we don't necessarily know what we're doing in this, to the full extent. Right. So y'all outsourced and got some people who really did know what they're doing. And one of those guys was Tony from
Biga.
Didn't he help y'all with y'all's dough at first?
He helped us. We owe so much to Tony from
cool.
Biga. Tony came in, and obviously we paid him well.
Yeah.
But he came in and taught us.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what we're doing. This is the dough. This is, developed the recipes, helped us with the menu. Some of his pizzas. Now, as honestly as he went on, he was like, I want to do my own, because fine dining
Yeah.
was really what
That's true.
was
Yeah.
his passion. That's what he wants to do. And he's an amazing chef.
He is.
Oh
yeah.
man, he is
Wow.
something else, and such
Yeah.
a wonderful person.
He
Big
is.
heart,
Yeah.
kind. That guy is amazing.
He really is amazing.
And
yeah.
honestly, without him, we wouldn't exist.
Wow. Is that right?
Absolutely, 100%. We wouldn't exist without him.
Yeah.
But that guy trained us and helped us and worked with us,
Okay.
and really, he did a lot.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, when he did leave, I had learned so much.
Yeah.
When it came time to, we need some new pizzas on the menu,
Uh-huh.
I developed our
Oh,
new pizzas.
really?
Yeah. So the Mediterranean,
Whoa.
the pickle, the
Uh-huh.
campfire, those are all those are
Cool,
mine.
dude.
Those are
Did
mine
you
that
just
I developed.
experiment and
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was
That's
just
amazing.
we got to come up with some new stuff.
Yeah.
So I, got in there and got in the kitchen and started working.
Yeah. So y'all have sandwiches too, right now, or not yet?
We tried sandwiches for
tried
a little
it.
while
Okay.
when Tony was there.
Yeah.
Because he was making bread too.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite talented enough to make the bread.
Okay.
I do
Yeah.
the pizza dough, and I learned that really well.
Nice.
But outside of that, we felt like the sandwiches are going to be a little much. So we
Yeah.
just stick with
I
pizza,
like that.
wings,
Yeah.
and salads.
How are your wings? I've never had the
Our
wings.
wings are
Shut
really
up.
good, yeah.
Oh, I gotta try. I've never tried
And-
your wings.
And we have just the sriracha
Mhm.
hot wing.
Yeah.
Delicious. It's real sweet, spicy. It's got all the things. Tony developed that one.
Nice.
But we're working on a new menu right now.
Cool.
And we're hoping to have it out by the end of the month,
Okay.
or the beginning of next.
Yeah.
And that menu is going to have a house-made buffalo
Okay.
sauce for the wings, and for a pizza, we're going to do a buffalo chicken pizza.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
dude.
so we're going to do a house-made buffalo sauce. We have a house-made hot honey barbecue,
Nice. Sounds good.
and then we'll
Yeah.
do, of course, the original sriracha honey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you also have that Nutella thing, that
Mhm.
dessert?
That's mine. That's the campfire
that's
pizza.
yours?
That's my campfire
Dude,
pizza,
I
baby.
love that thing.
Everybody loves that. We
Wow.
sell so many campfire pizzas. It's
You made
unreal.
that?
That's mine.
That's one of my favorite deals. Yeah.
The campfire pizza
Yeah,
is
campfire
my
pizza. Okay. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's the best dessert though.
Oh, it's amazing.
You share it with
it's amazing.
the table, and you have
Yeah.
a few slices, and it's got
Yeah.
Nutella,
Yeah.
chocolate chips,
Yep.
and I get this like crushed up graham cracker.
Yeah.
So I sprinkle that on there with the
Dude.
marshmallow,
Uh-huh.
bake it in the oven, pull it out, and everything's toasted and look nice. And then we cut
Dang.
fresh strawberries.
Yeah.
Throw fresh strawberries
Exactly.
on there with a little pat of powdered sugar.
Cool. Yeah. Dude, delicious.
Diabetes
Yeah.
on a plate, but it's good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, dude. So what were some of the, like, you said there were some rough patches. What were some of the things along the way that were unexpected, maybe, that you guys were like, oh, what are we going to do, you know?
Oh, there were so many.
Really?
There was
Oh,
a
dang.
lot. Even in just the construction part,
Yeah, okay.
because we didn't really have, a solid, we had a plan,
Mm-hmm.
but since we didn't really know what we were doing as well as we should have,
Mm-hmm.
that plan had to continuous.
That's
we had to
what- that's
change
what I
it
was
and
saying.
move
Yeah.
it, and like,
It seemed that way.
crap, and then when you do stuff and then you waste money.
Oh, man.
We only
yeah.
had so much money to spend on this.
Did
so
y'all
we,
get a bank loan or what?
Yeah.
Okay,
we
yeah.
got a bank loan. Of course, we had personal money in
Cool, yeah.
and a bank
Nice.
loan.
Yeah,
And then we had a third partner out of Austin, and he ended
that's
up,
right.
kind of just, he's like, I've got so much going on, I can't really do this.
Yeah,
And we bought him out and
Right.
spent more money doing that,
yeah.
which
Dang.
was hard. But then we brought in one of my best friends.
Mhm.
I've known this guy forever. He had some money. He
Mhm.
wanted to get in on it.
Yeah.
He owns a bar. Well, he owns 2 bars now.
Okay. Yeah.
Here in town,
Yeah.
and very successful ones. And
Nice.
he was like, "Yeah, I'll go in with you."
Yeah.
And he put some money in to help us finish everything out, and has been great with working with the banks, working with
Oh,
the
good.
monetary end of things,
Uh-huh.
the numbers.
Oh, yeah. He's got experience
kind of the
doing
back
that.
end, the back
Yeah,
end stuff
that's
that I really
invaluable.
didn't have a ton of experience in.
Yep. Nice.
And I've learned though over the years, it's different, working at a bar, owning a bar, or working in a
Mhm.
restaurant, or owning a restaurant. There's
oh,
a-
yeah. Big difference.
a
But at
massive
least
difference.
you had that experience. That
I did have
bartending
some, yeah. I
experience.
did. I had experience serving. I had
Yep.
experience bartending. So that helps.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah.
bringing Lewis in, Lewis really, kind of solidified everything.
That's
and,
pretty cool.
And really has been a huge help for us.
Yeah.
To move forward.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's cool to hear that, especially after all that you said recently, it's really starting to to bear fruit, and to do well. And dude, I think I love that because you guys are local guys. It's a local place. We need more stuff like that. And so seeing stuff like that succeed is amazing to me. And we were talking about some of that you attribute to some of your marketing partners like Landon and
Carson Beavers.
Yeah,
Carson Beavers and Landon really have
what have they done for y'all?
So they did a lot of video work and stuff that just, good pictures and good video like of eating and the beer wall and trying to the process of cooking the pizzas and and they came up with ideas that we didn't think of to help market.
Those are both really creative dudes.
They really
good
are.
At what they do.
Really are. I give a good shout out to Landon.
Yes,
Carson Beavers
both
from
you guys.
San Angelo to go.
Great work.
I was at College Hills Bodega.
Yeah.
Carson's good friend of mine as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Me and Carson have been really good friends for a while now, and he's been a really wonderful help. And Carson also helps on my real estate stuff too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, he does a lot of my drone
He's
work.
Amazing, dude.
When I sold the Dead Horse, which was bittersweet.
Were you partners with John in that? Was he part owner or no? The Dead Horse.
No. So Little Dog owned it. He got it from I think in 18 from Rex because Rex had it up until 18. And
then you bought it.
And then Rex and Little Dog made a deal to kind of where Little Dog would kind of take over.
Okay.
But I think COVID really, I think COVID killed it. He never recovered after COVID. It really hurt him bad.
Yeah.
And Rex eventually was like, man, I got to sell the building, because he still owned that building.
I got you. Yeah.
And, it was bittersweet when he came to me. He's like, hey man, someone needs you to sell this building. And I'm like,
dang.
So that's never coming back. He's like, I don't think so. I'm like, man,
sad,
dude. Like it's sad, because I had a lot of memories in that building.
For sure.
I played tons of shows on that stage with Obscure Oracle and Shotgun Rebels.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah. So in this last year in November, it's closed. So we had it under contract, I think, in October. But who did? If you saw the video, did you see the listing video for the Dead Horse?
I don't know if I did.
Carson did the drone work for the listing video, and it is one of the coolest listing videos, I think. It doesn't even have me in it.
Man. Yeah,
it doesn't even have me in it, but it's just drone work.
See that?
And he takes his drone, flies it through the cactus. Like
Sick.
The sign at the top of the cactus, flies it through the sign.
I have seen it, dude.
Flies it and has the music playing and goes down the street and into the door, and you see everything. And he comes around, and it's all drone work.
That's unbelievable.
And he's got these VR goggles, and he's like
that's
controlling the whole thing. And he did such a good job.
Wow,
Carson's as far as drone work.
Yeah,
I think Carson might be one of the best.
Really.
Carson,
are you serious?
I'm dead
I have
serious.
A guy, shout out to Andrew Wade's son. He's a kind of a partner of mine. We do some projects together. He's getting close to that good too. Okay. Like he goes through chimneys and crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. Yeah, that's what Carson, man, he does all this you're just like, dude.
I didn't know Carson was doing the VR deal though. That's a different ballgame.
It's a whole nother, you're just like, whoa, because he controls it just.
That's
and
amazing,
if you look at that video, it was so good.
I got to see it again. I'm going to see it right after this. That's pretty cool.
He's solid,
I might put it in right now as we're talking about it. I'll try to put it in there.
Put it in there. Yeah, it's really good. It's a good one. And the Grand Theft Auto one, I mean,
I'm going to put clips of that for sure. Yeah.
I've come up with I'm blessed, man, honestly, to do the things that I've gotten to do and to have experienced what I've experienced in real estate. And I was in the service industry for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And have love for it.
Yeah, me too.
And have love for the real estate business. And I'm getting to make money at
doing
both.
What you love,
doing what I love.
That's right, man.
Blessed, man.
That's right.
Blessed.
That's pretty amazing, dude.
Hands down, man. I'm you know what I mean?
Think about how few people get to do that. You know what I mean? Very few.
Very few.
That's pretty neat.
To be able to do to make money at what you love doing.
Yeah. And I think you're successful in it, honestly. I mean, I don't know what your faith is like, but I feel like you have faith in God. Yeah,
I love God,
dude.
Jesus,
I love that, man.
I mean, brother,
and I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons you're successful. But also, on a worldly basis, I think just because you're very authentic and you care about people, you really genuinely care about people. You're not out to make a buck off somebody.
No,
and I know that just from talking to you. So I think that is a big reason why you're successful too.
I appreciate
so it's pretty
that, brother.
neat, dude.
I really
inspiring
do.
To me.
But I guess the way I look at it, as a realtor, my views on that is, if I'm not doing you justice, if I'm not doing the very best for you and trying to guide you to what's best for you,
Yeah.
what does that say about me?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Like,
that's
I
exactly
can't.
right,
I couldn't
dude.
live with myself that way.
Yeah.
So
That's right, man. So what is the biggest listing you've ever had? Like, have you had like a multi-million-dollar listing before? Or like-
honestly, the biggest listing is probably, gosh, I would say I had one at the lake. It
Yeah.
was like a 3-story, beautiful lake home.
over $1 million or close to
It was the original listing was 1.1 mil, and I think we ended up selling it little under $1 million, but it was a beautiful home. It was gorgeous. It had, I think, 3 different docks.
Nice. Wow.
It was
Wow.
it had a fishing dock,
Yeah.
a
Boat
boat dock
Yeah.
with the boat lift,
Oh, sick.
and
yeah.
then it had a swim dock.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was really cool. It had and
Yeah.
it had like jet ski slips on the one side of it. And
Dang.
the house was just massive. I think it was like 4,000 square foot.
Yeah.
3 stories. It had at the very top was a big movie theater.
Oh, dude, that right there. For
It
me, I
was-
love movies, dude.
Me too.
You
I'm
do?
I'm a movie buff.
Dude, yes, me
like
too.
it's my
I love
love.
that. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I love see the movie stuff up there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I love
dude.
it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm into I'm starting to get into making some short films and documentaries and stuff. It's cool.
I
Dude.
love it.
I do too.
I've been a fan, since I was a child.
Yeah, same here.
I've always been just, I love it.
Yeah.
Growing up, I'd watch like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sylvester Stallone, all the,
sure.
the you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And just growing up in that era.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
So
what about do you have any plans to like for your own house? Like where would you want to live? And what kind of house would you want? Like if you could build from scratch or something?
man, honestly, I'd always live in San Angelo. I
Cool.
can't ever leave this town. I
like
love
that.
this town with all my heart and
Dang,
soul.
dude, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I
do too, man.
I hear so many people. Oh, so
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you can say whatever you want to
Right.
about my wonderful city,
Yeah.
but I'm in love with my city. I think it's
cool.
the best city ever. We have some of the nicest, most friendly people
That's the
in
truth.
the world here.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I've helped people in the military
Yeah.
who come here and they tell me, man, you got so many amazing people.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, yes,
That's right.
we're all very genuine and nice here.
That's
in San
right.
Angelo. Not everybody. There's always there's a bad apple everywhere.
For sure.
But generally
In fact,
speaking,
a lot of military people, I don't know if you've seen this, but they'll get stationed
back.
here and they come back. Yeah.
They come back to
It's
live.
common.
They come back to live. It's very
Yeah.
common.
It's-
And I've actually seen it already in my real estate business.
Oh, nice.
My first year, I helped a fella in the military. He'd bought a home. 2 years later, he was moved out.
Mm-hmm.
So he sold his home, moved out. This last year,
Mhm.
24. Well, man, I went ahead and retired, and I need you to help me find a home. I'm coming back there to live for good.
Wow. Yeah.
And because
Yep.
I just loved it so much, and I
Yep.
said, man, San Angelo's a great place, and I love to travel. So it's not that we could have more stuff to do here, but I'm gonna go out of town this weekend,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go and enjoy myself and
Exactly.
have fun.
That's how I view it. Yeah.
But I'm gonna come back
Mhm.
because I can't be away.
Yeah, dude.
No,
that's how I feel about it too. Yeah, I take weekend trips. I used to do that
Yeah.
quite a bit, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then it's nice to come back somewhere because I hear people all the time. They talk about moving to Dallas or somewhere, and they're griping about how they're sitting in traffic or they're
Yep.
having to, all these rude people and how they're missing out on their kids because they're in rush hour or whatever the commute. And we're blessed to not have to deal with that. Dude.
Very blessed.
It's crazy
We
how
have a
much
great-
time's wasted doing that.
Do we have a great community?
We do.
Um,
we do. That's a good
I
point.
think that obviously nothing's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think if you look at the overall picture, our community is amazing.
It is. What I tend to find, and when I'm talking to people who live, let's say in Austin or Dallas, and I lived in Austin for a while, and I
Right.
love Austin. And there's something to be said about the community in Austin because they have a good community too.
They do.
But like sometimes when you're in a big city like that, the community vibe is just not there. Like people don't care about that. They're not invested in that because it's so big and it's so splintered, like little sections, little communities.
Yeah, I was gonna say many communities all
Yeah.
kind of make up, so they're all kind of splintered out.
That's right.
San Angelo's really just a full big community.
I think we're blessed to have
We
that.
are.
It's
We're
unique.
very blessed.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it's like San Angelo's not too big to where we can't have that, and it's not too small where everybody knows everybody, but it's just the right size where people care about the community.
Yep.
You know, they invest in it, they care about each other.
Yep.
So dude, it is a cool place to live. I agree with that.
I love it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and so, like, again, you know, if you want to get away.
Right, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
go to San Antonio. I love San Antonio. San
Me
Antonio is
too.
my favorite place in the world to
Is
travel.
it? Why do you love San Antonio?
I love San Antonio. It's probably going to go this weekend. I'll probably hang out there. I'm going to go Austin and San Antonio, probably split it up a little bit. But
That's my favorite place to go play
San Antonio
golf.
is my favorite place in the world. Honestly, you know, and everybody's like, oh, the Riverwalk's so touristy.
Yeah.
It's blah, blah. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm cheesy like that. I love the
I love it
Riverwalk.
too. Yeah.
Just call me cheesy.
I think it's
don't
great,
care.
dude. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Ripley's Wax Museum for the
That's
20th time.
hilarious.
You know what I mean? Like,
Are you serious?
Oh,
That is
yeah,
funny.
dude, I love
That's something
it.
you usually only do like once or twice. You go all the time.
I go all the time.
That's funny.
I love, you know, just there's so much to do there in San
Yeah.
Antonio. It's my favorite place. But you know, but San Antonio, what I like is that you go to the Riverwalk one time and enjoy yourself and you know, hang out at the river and
Yeah.
have a few drinks and have some good food.
Right.
And then, you know, the next time you go to La Cantera
That's right.
and
Oh, I love
shop.
La Cantera,
And
dude.
yeah, you know, you have the nice thing. You go play golf. You
Yeah.
can,
Do you play?
Yeah, I love playing golf, man.
That's awesome. I
suck
didn't know
at
that.
it.
Yeah, that's cool, dude.
But I love playing, man.
Oh, it's the best.
They have the rim. You know,
Yeah.
there's different areas in San Antonio. It's just such an amazing place.
It
to
is
go.
cool. I like
Yeah.
Austin and San Antonio.
Austin's
The
great
hill
too because
country.
there's, you know, you got there's so much in and around Austin, San Antonio,
Yeah. Have
San
you ever
Marcos.
been to Green? You've probably been to Green.
Oh
right?
yeah, Green.
I love Green.
Green's
dude.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's so peaceful.
It is.
Very peaceful.
Some of my
man.
favorite memories are there. I love Green, Texas.
But
yeah.
you know, San Marcos. Have you ever been?
I went to school there. I went to Texas State.
Okay, so
yeah.
like, you know, like that little town square.
Yeah.
It's
the quad.
so
Yeah.
freaking.
Or no, the
cool.
square. Yeah,
The
it's called the square.
The big town square.
Yeah.
There's
It's
just
neat,
all
isn't it?
It's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Like, I you know, and when Obscure Oracle, a metal band, we used to play gigs there, and
Did y'all
Shotgun
ever
Rebels
play
would play
on
gigs there.
Texas State around there, like college?
We played at a place called
concert
the
or something?
Triple Crown.
Was it in the square there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in the square. We played at another place called the something else. We played at 2 or 3 different places there in San
Nice,
Marcos
dude.
and a
Yeah.
few places in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got to know all these places was
Okay.
playing gigs at these places.
Oh,
Going, well, I want to go
cool.
back and not have to work. I want to just
Exactly.
enjoy it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, for sure. So, what are 3 things? I always ask everybody this.
Mm-hmm.
What are 3 things that you're genuinely grateful for right now in your life?
Honestly, I'm very grateful for all my friends and family.
Nice.
You know, I'm very grateful for the business opportunities that have been given to me.
Yeah.
And honestly, just grateful for my life.
Yeah, dude. Cool.
I honestly almost died in 2020.
You almost died. Why?
My intestine ruptured
What?
inside my body, and I almost killed. I was in ICU
Dude,
for 3 weeks.
How did that happen? I didn't know that.
They said it was like a diverticulitis.
Oh yeah.
And mine, you know, they're like, how did you not feel this? And I'm like, I mean, I noticed a little something, but I thought it was fine. I thought it was indigestion.
Really?
And I was
Oh,
eating
wow.
real bad. I ate real bad and
Yeah.
didn't take care of myself. And I almost died. They
Dang,
were
dude.
giving me a 50-50 shot to make it out of the ICU alive.
Were you like not conscious either? Like were
For a
you
little
put
while. I was out for a
really?
little while. And then came back and they kind of
didn't know
kept
that,
me
dude.
going and kept me, you know, and pumped me full of antibiotics and for weeks. Just
Dang,
weeks and
man.
weeks and weeks.
weeks.
Oh yeah.
Wait, how long were you in the ICU?
3 weeks. I was in the ICU
Oh,
for 3 weeks.
what in the world,
I had
dude?
3
I didn't know
different
that.
surgeries to fix and to put me back together.
Wow, man.
And luckily, you know, the doctors at Shannon were really good. Dr. Michael Boyd was my main doctor, and that guy is you know, and it was some of it was
Whoa.
robotics.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, and he put me back together, and ever since then,
Yeah.
I've had a real true understanding of what it's like to almost be on the other
Yes,
side
sir.
of this.
Dude, I can
So-
relate to that. Let me tell you just briefly because that reminded me. So I got COVID and it was whatever year, I think it was 21 or 22 when the Delta variant came out. Remember that?
Yeah, 21, yeah.
He's 21. And I owned my gym at the time and I got sick and I tested positive for COVID. And I was pretty sick for 3 or 4 days. And then a week went by and I got better. And then I started feeling these pains in my rib, but they would go up to my back too, like around. It was
Yeah.
strange.
Wow.
And it would affect my breathing to where
Yeah.
I couldn't take a deep breath. And one day after training clients, I was at home, and it lasted for about 45 minutes. And I started getting pretty worried. And finally it stopped. And for like a week this went on, and I kept ignoring it and thinking, it's probably nothing. And then one night I woke up and I was coughing up blood.
Oh,
and like blood, like clots almost, and like on my hand. And I was like, oh God. And I freaked out. I said, we got to go now. We got to go to the ER. And I was avoiding going. I was scared to go get checked out.
It's scary. I hate going to the hospital.
It is
like
right.
Going to the hospital.
Yeah. And sure enough, it was worst case scenario. Like I got there and they tested me, ran a bunch of tests, and did the deal where you forget what it's called, but they inject the dye into you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And sure enough, I had 2 pulmonary embolisms in my blood clots in my lungs from COVID.
Smoke.
And as I was there, it got worse. So they immediately started me on blood thinners, but it got so bad. And my dad will remember this, that it was so bad I was breathing like this. There were spells where I was like, and I couldn't take a deep, and it was terrifying.
And that's, because I mean, that's the point where might try to put you on that ventilator.
That's right.
And honestly, that's the recipe for death.
Yes. I had a close friend die from that. And
Yeah.
I remember looking at my friends and family and them just looking at me like hopeless, like wanting to help me, but there was nothing they could do. And I'll never forget that. And I remember finally coming out of that, and I finally was getting better, and they said, okay, if you can walk around with your oxygen not dipping below 90 or something like that, we'll let you go. And I was able to do it. And as soon as I got out, dude, I said, drop me off right over here. And I dropped to I get emotional talking about, I dropped to my knees in front of this tree, and I thanked God, man. I was like, I'll never take another day for granted.
Exactly.
God, it was scary, man. So you've been through this.
I've been through
yours was even scarier to me.
Yeah, I really, when I was in that hospital, I was in the ICU for 3 weeks, and then I was up on one of the floors for a week, and they finally said, and I was just horrible, and I went in weighing 215 pounds and came out of there weighing 150.
What? Wow.
Now you want a recipe for losing weight? Boy, that's it.
Yeah.
But the nurse was like, I was like, can I just see the sun? And she goes, you haven't been outside? I said, I haven't been outside.
Yeah.
In a month.
Yeah.
I've got to get,
You just wanted to see the sun.
I just wanted to see the sun because I was scared I might not see it again.
Dang, dude.
I went outside and cried.
Did you really?
The moment that sun
So
hit
you had
my
that
face,
same-
I just, and
Incredible.
I hit my knee. I said, God, thank you so much for letting me live. Whatever is your will.
Dang, dude. We
Yeah,
had that same
but
experience. That's incredible.
Here I am,
I know.
healthy as a horse.
That's right.
And living life and enjoying, being able to go out again and eat good food and live and run businesses. And,
That's right.
And
Yeah.
praise the Lord, man. I'm alive and
That's right, dude.
and thriving.
That's right.
So
Yeah. That's exactly
it wasn't
right,
my
man.
time to go.
No, I know.
So
That's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. That's
absolutely,
awesome.
brother.
Thank you for coming on, dude. This was
man.
terrific, man.
Absolutely.
Thank
I
you,
had a
Rusty.
great time, brother.
Cool, dude. This
Had a
was
great
great.
time.
All right, guys, you heard it. This was the Matt Cutrer Report. This was Rusty
Bartholomeo.
Barthelimeo. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks. Dude, that was great. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Matt Cutrer Report. This was a fascinating episode. Such a great guest. Thank you, Rusty, for coming on. Loved hearing your story. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Remember, if you'd like